Well, the phone's still kind of slow to react to when I turn my head. It seems like it's got a bit of a tape delay. I want to tell you certain things that people believe are highly questionable, and that are the statistics that are quoted for countries of the world as far as their human populations go. The last time I looked on the internet, I was told 1.3 billion people in China. Is it true? China physically, according to the best overlay mapping program I could find on the internet, physical size, or in other words, area, land area, China is about the same size as the United States. The United States, apparently, according to the statistics that are provided to us, is somewhat over 300 million people. So you take the size of the United States and you add a billion more people to it, and that's China. I don't believe it. Let's take India. I don't know. It's over a billion according to what they're telling us. And yet, when I use Google, like the Google Earth thing or whatever, that you can zoom in, and I looked at some major cities of India, really big Indian cities, using that app. And I find, like, in the city center of some of these places, the central part of an enormous city that they're quoting is huge, millions of people. In the middle of the city is low rise buildings. They just don't look that big from the app. So someone is lying to us. Again, some other very populated countries, like Indonesia, they're so enormous in what they're quoted as having a population. Why is it that they're never on the news? These populations are enormous in a lot of these countries. Pakistan is another one. Some of the countries of Africa. We're led to believe that these countries are what? Third world countries where everyone is dumb. Hundreds of millions of people and everyone is dumb. Because no inventions come out of them worthy of coming onto the news. I don't believe it. Someone is lying. Now, Dolores Cannon, who was she spent most of her career as a hypnotic, what do you call it? She did hypnotic regressions on, I don't know, thousands of people. And she found very fascinating information when people were hypnotized. She found out when people were deeply hypnotized that we're lied to. She said there are holographic inserts in our realities. Who's doing these holographic inserts? Well, I don't know. I didn't read all of her books. She made a lot of books, and I just watched her video. I don't want to tell you, but pretty much I've come to the conclusion that our world isn't a globe. It's not a flat earth. It's a holodeck, like in Star Trek, where everything is part of the holodeck. And, things like CIA fact book are full of lies. In search of any kind of interesting thing to do. We're all in quarantine, but we're told it's not the whole world. It's like maybe a third of the world is in quarantine. And I saw a video where some community group was going to help people in Africa. Some African city, didn't say where it was, but it was a bunch of African people coming to collect something from the van that showed up in their village. And there was no social distancing going on there. They were all not really even lined up. It just crowded around the van. A lot of people. I don't know, 50 people. And then today on a Toronto news station, again, they showed us pictures from inside a supermarket in Toronto. And the commentary was, well, the people Canadians don't want to go to the grocery store. They really hate going to the grocery store now. And they showed one aisle. There was a lot of people in that aisle. I mean, if you were going to do social distancing, you should let one person go. Up an aisle. And when they've turned the corner and gone, it should be like you shouldn't be able to go back. You should be able to go one time up and down the aisles like this. So the first person goes, and when they get to the end of the aisle and they turn around the corner, that's when you let the next person, one person, go. And when they finish that aisle and they've made the corner, you have to stop them at this end here. And you have to wait to make sure that that person that was ahead of you has cleared the aisle. So you've got space. And they didn't show that. And then they show pictures of Donald Trump at the White House. Are they current pictures? I don't know. But he's got, I don't know, 10 people standing right next to him, shoulder to shoulder. This is social distancing. And then there's the story about the young man who was paddleboarding in the middle of the ocean, way far away from a pier. And then the police come up in the police boat and they arrest him. Maybe this is just a story made up to make us pissed off. But we're told where I live, this summer, there's not going to be any camping at the camping parks. Why? Why can't you go camping? You can't do social distancing when you go camping? In my town, we do social distancing when we walk around, you know, see somebody coming, you just walk to the other side of the road. But you can't go camping. Anyway, as far as the world populations go, I'm with Delores Cannon. There's holographic inserts that are to fool us. She called some of the people in our lives backdrop people. They're holographic people, but they're not real people. Like when you go to Walmart, not everybody there is a human, according to Delores Cannon. Some of them are just holograms. Do you believe her? You think it's crazy? Or when you first hear it, you say, that's as crazy can be. What evidence do we have of these holographic inserts? Just the testimony of Delores Cannon? Or is it a long history of discovering that you've been lied to so many times about so many things that you wonder, have I got any truths whatsoever? I don't know what else to tell you. Someone is I get herky jerkied. In other words, there are voices that I hear a long time now. I hear voices and they tell me what to do. Do you think I've got psychosis? Maybe you do. A lot of people hear these voices. They call them spirit guides, when they're psychic people. What if you go to a psychic? Like there was a famous psychic, a lady, blonde-haired lady. She was an old lady, and she had a psychic friend called Francine that she would talk to by telepathy. Why do we think that telepathy is, if you've got telepathy, that you're having a psychosis? Well, anyway, a lot of times these voices, these personalities that I hear, um, they also move my body. Like sometimes you'll see me and I go like this. I did that on purpose. But a lot of times then that happens. It's not me doing it. It's somebody else moving my body. And sometimes they play with different parts of my body. It's disgusting. I don't want to tell you. They like it when I talk about this because they enjoy torturing me. So we live in a holographic reality where we're lied to, and it's like the Truman Show. On the Truman Show, there was that one guy who talked to Truman and told him, don't leave this simulated world that you're in. And Truman finally left. But that's what these kind of people are. They spend their whole lives watching you in the Truman Show. These beings are unbelievably vile. And genuflecting on it all, which basically is a Roman Catholic thing called bowing towards the cross. These ones, for my purposes, when I say genuflecting, it's like reflecting on it. reflecting on it, um, are we ever going to get out of what is basically the Matrix? You remember the Matrix movie? Keanu Reeves, Lawrence Fishburne, where the humans were all living in the Matrix, which was run by a huge computer system designed by the architect. Yeah, that's what I think we're living in. It's the Matrix, it's a holodeck. And it's disgusting when they breathe, in your head. These people, like that guy that was controlling Truman. It's disgusting. It's vile. How are you ever going to get out of this holographic matrix? And what are you going to do when you finally figure out that these ones that are talking in your head are, what are they exactly? Are they artificial intelligence bots? Or are they people? Or are bots considered people in their world? And we're here in a petri dish. We're lab rats for them to study. To the best of my knowledge, that's the way things are here in this place we call Earth. It's disgusting. And some people who are aware of this are, I don't know what to tell you. It's very unpleasant. And when is this lab experiment going to be over? They don't tell me. But what it is, if you have ever read The Celestine Prophecy by James Redfield, it's a good one. It was a New York Times bestseller in the late 1990s, I guess. Well, what is a New York Times bestseller? It's something that they put on the book. Or maybe you can go back on the internet to look. But is it real? Did they really sell that many copies of this book to make it a bestseller? Or did someone pay to have it, the New York Times, say that it was this many sales? I mean, the lies, you never get truth. But anyway, in this book, they do talk a little bit about, or in one of the sequels, they do talk about how certain people are living in a separate reality that you might unfortunately get drawn into. But Control Drama was the first book. It was what it was all about. Control drama. And that's what these creatures do. They use control drama. They're addicted to control drama. And they do control drama on all of us lab rats, the real humans here. And they play with our minds by all kinds of high-tech ways. You know that they have these holographic things. It's on YouTube. They have, well, there's the holographic 2-pack, but there's, holographic whales that can jump out of the ocean, and it's all projected into a school gymnasium. But the control drama is brutal. These entities love control drama because they love to have you as their pet. In search of some way to tell you, even they know what James Redfield has told us in his books, and they don't care. They don't care. They don't care. They don't want to increase their consciousness on the scale of human consciousness. They don't want to do anything but do what they did before, control us. Stuart Wilde, the metaphysical writer, said, well, he basically called these things the fat controllers. And he said Earth was loaded with them. He had visions of a time when there was going to be a great renewal. And these fat controllers were going to be taken out. So far, I see no evidence of that. And, maybe Stuart Wilde was being controlled by the fat controllers and told these are what things to say and to write about. What truth have you got? We've got sheeple, that is, people who act like sheep and believe anything they're told by their doctor, their media, their lawyer, their teachers. We have mind control. What is mind control? Mind control is you not deciding what you want to say can be said. You have something in your head, and God knows where it comes from. I mean, maybe everything comes from the fat computers that tell you what to do. Maybe you're not even a human. Maybe you're just, think you're a human, but maybe you're more like a hologram with computer generated speech. And somehow, at least some of us, at least me, have a speck of awareness, and you can watch all this stuff going on. How many other humans are real? Well, I used to think everyone was human and biological till I started reading a lot of this stuff and watching Star Trek. But as far as China being 1.3 billion people, in the same size as the United States, adding a billion people to the United States, um, where are you going to put them? Because you have to have land to grow food. And if you look at China, well, it conquered a whole pile of Tibet, which is a huge mountainous plateau. It also begs the question of, is there something beyond the matrix? And the answer is, I don't know. But if there is, I sure would like to get out of the matrix and be free of control drama, fat controllers, and lies.